The reason they quit is because of their surroundings.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying? Like
You're the greatest accountability buddy outside my wife that I have. But you and Dane, you keep me on my A game.
It is so important, and I think people they don't realize that. What's up, guys? It is Garrett Townsend here with Burn the Ships, and as always, I am joined by my man, Mr. Chabalka, one of my best friends. Man, I could just go on and just tell this crowd all day long how much I love you and care about you, but
you're gonna make me blush.
You know what, man? I'm just blessed that you're in my life, and I'm blessed that we get to do this. We're gonna cover today New Year's resolutions, goals, all that stuff that most people have already quit. And
yeah, Quitter's Day came and went. Quitter's Day
was what?
January 19th. 92% of resolutions are dead and gone by January 19th, and we're past Valentine's Day at this point. So.
Yeah, that blows my mind because I don't know about you, but like my resolution or my goals are 2025 resolutions and goals. Mm-hmm. I've never set a January of a year goal that I had to hit in January.
No.
But it's crazy to me that people will set a goal for a year, and if they mess up or, you know, they don't do exactly what they said or whatever, they just automatically quit, and you still have the whole rest of the year left.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Folks these days don't have a lot of grit, and that's the number one determining factor if you're going to be successful in life is how much grit you have. And what that means is, you know, you get punched in the face, or you're going to stand back up. There's a lot of people, they trip up once, they go on a trip, and they start eating like crap, so they give up on their diet, or they miss the gym, they stop going, or they don't make their phone calls, or maybe January they didn't have the numbers they wanted, or even relationally, that it just goes from, you know, if you have a goal, I'm going to try to get the fireworks back in my marriage, but by the end of January, you're just back to humdrum, and you're not, you know, speaking your partner's love language and going above and beyond for them. You just kind of give up and you fall into your old rut. So we're going to help you guys try to find a little bit of grit and how to tactfully and intelligently attack these goals. And if you started a resolution and you already feel like you're quitting on it, guess what? It's only February. We got time to get back up on that horse.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we got the whole year, guys. And here's the thing. So, you know, do this. I mean, this is what I do. Chad and I talked about it recently. I look at my year as a 12-game season. I'm a sports guy. Most people I know are sports people. It's a 12-game season. How can you go into a season and because you lose the first game or the second game, because right now, I'm 0-2 right now. I'll tell you, based on helping 15 families every single month, doing 180 families a year, if I were to measure my first 2 months, that's what I'm going to do for the year. I've already failed.
Mm-hmm. Well, then you might as well give up and mail in the season, right?
January, February, right? And so in Colorado, I mean, we all know that we're going to fail, but I also know that I've got 10 more games that I can win to catch up. Mm-hmm. And the fact that...
And I really love the way you break down games even more. You'll break it down. You have a 12-game season. Within each game, so each month, you have innings, and those are your weeks. Yeah. And then you can break down that even further. Every at-bat is a day. So you don't need to look at your goal and think, oh, I have to win the World Series today. Today is one at bat.
Yeah.
Control that at bat, get a hit, get on base, walk if you have to. Just don't go down looking.
Yeah.
Do something, right?
Just don't quit.
Yep.
Like, I just don't even understand the reason in why so many people in the world today just have no resilience, no grit. They just quit. Mm-hmm. And I don't get that. I guess God did not put the quitter mindset in me. And most of the people that I surround myself with, there is no quitting. I mean, you look at, we just had the Super Bowl, right? And I'm going to use that as an analogy because, again, like you said, I break each game down. I use the football analogy instead of the baseball analogy because there's 4 weeks in a month. There's 4 quarters in a game, right? And
that works.
You know, you could be your first quarter or the first week of the month, and maybe you didn't make all your calls, or maybe you didn't have as many leads as you could, but you still got 3/4 of the game left.
Yeah. If you look at it that way, think every single day is a drive. Every single day is a drive. Are you gonna kneel 4 times and completely give up on it? So you can break it down from a football analogy that each day then is a drive. And are you going to kneel 4 straight plays and just quit? Or are you going to try to make some magic happen? You might not score a touchdown every drive. You might even not get points. From a really deep football analogy, are you flipping the field? Are you going to put the other guy in a position where it's harder for him to come down? Are you going to waste some of the clock if you're ahead? There's all these different ways to look at it.
Are you analyzing your game?
Are you analyzing your game?
This isn't working, and you can pivot during the week or whatever, right?
Exactly. Do you think Patrick Mahomes would have made it to the Super Bowl 3 straight seasons if one drive in the first game of the season he got punched in the mouth, sacked, messed up? I mean, the Super Bowl and Patrick Mahomes didn't get along very well, but the dude still went to 3 straight Super Bowls, winning 2 of them. So,
and let's talk about that.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't know because I didn't follow the Eagles from day one through the season. Did they start out 1-4?
I don't remember if they were 1-4 or 1-3, but they came out and got punched in the mouth. They were not playing the way that they were supposed to, and then they went on a tear.
Yeah. So the Eagles started their season with a few losses, but then they didn't give up. They didn't quit. They reevaluated. They came up with a different game plan, and they literally and I think the biggest thing is they wanted it. They obviously wanted it more than they didn't want it because they kept growing. They kept getting better. They kept putting in more effort. And next thing you know, they're in the Super Bowl. And I'm going to tell you something. I know you watched the Super Bowl. I watched the Super Bowl. And if I analyze the Super Bowl itself, I think Kansas City, they were too comfortable. They were too relaxed. I think they thought they had it. And then you had an Eagles team that came in that was on fire. They were not comfortable. And I think they just wanted it more. And they literally came out and punched Kansas City in the mouth every single down. It was
a physical beatdown.
It was.
It really was.
I mean, I've never seen Kansas City like that on their heels like that so much.
Travis Kelce said it was the worst game he's ever played at Kansas City.
Yeah.
I believe it. And I think the offensive line would agree with him because Mahomes was just getting his butt kicked the whole game.
And I think it was just, I mean, if somebody said, what do you think the single factor in that game was? I think the Eagles wanted it more, period.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah. They went in there and said, we're taking the Super Bowl.
So if we're looking at not Super Bowl goals, but our goals, right? Let's look a little bit at our goals for 2024, where we're sitting with them. But before we even break down how we're doing on them, what did you do with your goals? Let's talk about what they were, and what did you do to make sure that the main thing stays the main thing?
Well, the main thing for me is like my goals are numbers, right? And so there's always action plans with each number, and I don't laminate all that, but I've got a 1-pager, changes that I want to make that are just one-liners. It's mostly transactions, percentages, leads to get the transactions and whatnot. And that's a 1-pager. That one I print off and I keep it, close to my desk, and I try to visually look at it at least every few days, if not once or twice a week, just to in my brain. Now, if I was a smarter guy than I am, I would probably laminate it, put it literally right in front of my computer and look at it every single day like I'm supposed to.
Yeah, so I do something extremely similar. I do have mine sitting on my desk where I have not just my business goals, but I also have my marriage goals, my goals as a father. Physical is a big thing for you and I. We're both kind of meatheads, and being in the gym is huge. And so I have all of those goals written down, all the way down to we want to buy a rental property in Scottsdale, an example property. Here's what GT's told me it's going to cost. Here's what my down payment's going to need to be. And I really like putting it on paper in a place I can see it every day. It's on my desk, but then also I have it on my cell phone, not as my home screen, but if I swipe over 3 times, it's there too.
Right.
So I have not just my goals, minuscule action steps, but details of that goal and how I can actually achieve it.
Right.
Because a lot of people, I think, just kind of shotgun approach it, and they just kind of throw it to the wind and hope it's all going to work out and something sticks against the wall.
Yeah.
But they don't actually plan for it, and they try to eat the elephant in one bite, and it doesn't work like that.
It just doesn't. And I think the bigger thing is, I think 2 things. One is people set too big of goals. They get discouraged because they don't keep the small promises to themselves. Like, I'll be the first to tell you that when it comes to, I think every single goal that I set for myself this year, have I hit what I know is going to take to be sitting here December 31st and 25 Have I hit every single thing that I need to do every single day to get to that goal for 2025? Absolutely not. Am I going to quit? No. Am I going to get better? Yes. And the thing is that I think that you have to identify is knowing where you're at, how far behind you are, and what you need to do to get caught up to make sure when you're here in December that you did what you needed to do to catch up. I mean, and I think there's a lot of people, for example, in my industry, we're always slow in January, February. The weather, we're peak of the winter.
People are focused on taxes, school.
People don't want to go out and look at houses when it's like this. I mean,
tax season's right around the corner. The kids are in school. People aren't moving a lot right now. And frankly, rates are still higher. So,
and the weather, and here, I think the weather's a big piece of it.
I think it's a massive piece. That makes Colorado's real estate market very cyclical.
Personally, I'm planting more seeds in January, February, just knowing that when the business does start to pick up in March and April, that more than double my monthly goal to catch up for the 2 games that I lost. And so it's just kind of knowing your market, knowing who you are. I mean, if it's your fitness and you know that you're behind, and let's just say your goal is to lose X amount of pounds by December 31st, you need to just be able to break that down and go, okay, I didn't really do it in January, so I got to catch up in February, March, or whatever. And you just got to put in that extra work to know that where you need to be in line to hit that goal by the end of the year. Or that, for me, I had my knee surgery. I know it set me back, but I also know that now the more cardio I can do, I know what it's going to take for me to be where I want to be by June, basically, is the summer. I don't want to wait till the 31st because I actually want to look good this summer. I know what I need to do for the next 3 or 4 months to be where I want to be for the summertime. So,
well, fitness is a beautiful resolution to look at, right? Because of the fact that you can very, very accurately determine what the outcome is going to be. With us in business, we can say we're going to do X amount of calls, do X amount of videos, do this event, do all of these things, but those actions don't 100% guarantee results. I guarantee you're going to be better off than you would have had you not done it, but there's no crystal ball that says, okay, if I do this event, I'm going to get 25 clients. So we don't have that. With fitness, on the other hand, fitness is a beautiful resolution for, I think, people to almost start with in their life, because you can scientifically break it down by looking at what your caloric deficit needs to be. Right. You can start small. You don't need to try to lose 50 pounds. You start with 10, start with 5, whatever. Figure out what your caloric deficit needs to be. It takes a little bit of work to track what you're eating, but if there's no goal that on this planet that is worth anything if it's not hard work.
I call it controlling the controllables.
Yeah. And then you can say, okay, I'm not going to start it. I work out at least 6 days a week, if not 7.
Yeah.
But I would not recommend that to somebody who's been sitting on the couch for 15 years. I'm a former high school and college athlete. I've been in the gym since I was 10, and my body's used to it. So I would, to somebody who has never done that, start with get a gym membership and do 20 minutes on a treadmill 3 times a week.
Yeah,
that's 20, it. And when I say 20, treadmill, you don't even need to run. Just put it on an incline and a walk.
Yeah, do 20 push-ups a day.
That's it. That's all you need to start with.
Yeah.
And then the next week, add a little more. But when I say little, I'm talking like 5 to 10% increases.
Yeah.
You don't need to increase it by 100% a week. Just do small baby steps that are manageable, that aren't going to destroy your confidence because you're not kicking ass already. Do it in a way that it is something that you can commit to, that you're not going to be overwhelmed with. Make sure you're getting 8 hours of sleep. Make sure you're getting 10 glasses of water, and boom, I promise you, it's scientifically proven. I've done it. You've done it. It's accurate as the day is long, that if you do those things, your body is going to get healthier.
Without a doubt.
So I would love for everybody, the number one resolution out there is for weight loss.
It's always physically something, right?
So even if you stumbled in January and then Valentine's Day came and you had too many chocolates, whatever, consider today January 1. Yeah. Start over and take a very sensible approach to what your goal is. And start over. And it's okay to start over. Just I'm begging you for your health, for your longevity, for your kids, for your spouse. Don't quit that one.
Right.
That one is so important on so many different levels, for your mental clarity, for your energy level, for work, for everything. Yeah. You're smiling.
No, I'm smiling because I love it. And then and it made me think, because I'm listening to you, and I'm very grateful for you in the fact that I know I know who you are, and I know that you would hold me accountable if I did quit. And the reality of it is there's so many people out there that I feel like the reason they quit is because of their surroundings and the people and all the noise out there. And people are like, oh, yeah, I quit too. So it makes it okay. Versus the people who are like, yeah, you know what? I kind of fell off the wagon in January myself. I didn't do what I said I was going to do, but I'm going to make up for it in February. And guess what? You're going to do it too.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying? Like
you're the greatest accountability buddy outside my wife that I have. But you and Dane, you keep me on my A game.
It is so important, and I think people they don't realize that. They'd rather surround themselves with the people that go, oh yeah, you know what? It's funny, man. I was so gung ho, and 3 weeks later, I was like, yeah, that's stupid. Why am I doing that?
Let's go get a beer and have some wings and talk about it.
Yeah, dude, and it's crazy to me. And I'm just telling you, if you're that person, find some different people to hang out with, because the people that I want to be with is like, that would put me in my place and say, gee, no, buddy, this is middle of February. You said you were going to do this. Like we got to reset.
Yep.
Like pivot, do whatever you need to do, but we're not quitting on this. And the thing is, I'm fortunate that I'm surrounded by those people in my life that wouldn't allow that. So, yeah. and if you don't have those people, you need to find new ones. And I'm not saying just ditch the other ones, but you need to limit your exposure to them.
I think that's absolutely huge. That's probably a massive reason why the Eagles just steamrolled the Kansas City Chiefs, is because there's a bunch of guys in that room who are accountable to each other and focus. And they talked a lot about it. There's great leadership in that locker room. Not to say Kansas City doesn't have that, but Kansas City they were distracted. Kelsey's got his podcast. Mahomes is buying sports teams and doing all this. Definitely a little bit more distraction in the Kansas City locker room. You got Taylor Swift you have to deal with. I mean, come on. Yeah. So the Eagles, on the other hand, they were the underdog. All they heard about was how Kansas City's going to three-peat. And there was a lot of guys in that locker room who had been looked over. I mean, Jalen Hurts was benched in the national championship game. Saquon Barkley had only ever played for the Giants and gotten the snot beat out of him for his whole career. Sirianni was on the hot seat, the head coach. A couple of years ago, people were saying, well, maybe he shouldn't be. So you had a lot of guys in that locker room that are focused on what they wanted, and I guarantee they held each other accountable to the hilt.
Yeah.
And hey, if you're not watching enough game film, down the controller, quit playing Madden and get your head in the game. I guarantee that happened in that locker room, and that's why they're Super Bowl champions.
And it literally just boils down to they wanted it more. And I think that life, the difference between success and not success is how bad do you want it. And, there was who it was on some motivational thing that I've heard many times. They've taken the clips from it and put it on a lot of different motivational stuff, but where the guy was the guru and he met the guru at the beach, and the dude takes him into the ocean and basically dunks him in the water and holds him under the water until the dude can't hardly breathe anymore, and he's fighting and he gets back up. He's like, why did you do that? He goes, when you wanted as bad as you wanted to take that next breath, that's when everything will come together for you.
That's when you'll be successful. Yeah, when you want it as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you'll be successful.
I truly believe that we are filled with a world, and dude, I've been surrounded by it, and I've seen it, and I've been guilty of doing it myself, where you talk it, but when it really comes down to it, how bad do you really want it? Because we all know that greatness is a choice, and your life is basically a sum of your choices. When you want something bad enough, you're going to make the right choices and do the right things that are going to get you there. And if not, then you'll be sitting there wondering what happened, or you'll just quit.
Yep. So far, we got to write down our goals.
Yep.
A goal that's not written down is a dream.
Yep.
We are dreamers, but we're doers. So we're going to write down our goal.
Yeah.
We're going to have action steps along with it.
Right.
Don't just put the goal.
It's got to have actions.
It's got a goal with no plan is nothing. It's not worth a dream.
Yeah.
So action steps to get there. I do believe that you have to have a deadline to make a goal real. So that's probably a big reason why I've never been huge on New Year's resolutions, because like you said, a year is a long time. I do yearly business plan goals, but as far as like weight loss or reading the Bible or marriage stuff, I like putting deadlines on it. So I would suggest having a deadline, and if it's December 31st, that's fine. If you're doing fitness, I would say probably weigh yourself in every week, but that's still fine. Audit your circle.
Yep.
Make sure that you're surrounded with the same badasses that you want to be.
Yep.
I wholeheartedly believe that you don't just need accountability people. Try to surround yourself with people who are doing more than you.
Yep.
In business and fitness. Like, I used to train at Armbrust Pro Gym a lot. Armbrust is, for those of you who don't know bodybuilding, that's where Mr. Olympia's train.
Right.
That's Phil Heath. Yeah. Like 9-time Mr. Olympia's
in the fitness industry.
Guys who I will never shake a stick at. I've seen Brian Shaw, World's Strongest Man. He has his own ranch now, but I've seen him train there before. So, being surrounded by guys like that, or in a D1 weight room where guys are squatting 600-700 pounds, being around that kind of thing, it fuels the fire.
I call it people that lift you.
People that lift you.
Surround yourself with people that lift you and drive you to be better.
So whatever that thing is that you're looking for, whatever your goal is, if it's weight loss, do what I just said. If it's in business, if you're a real estate agent like myself, or in mortgages like GT is, maybe look at your brokerage. Maybe you're not in the right place. If you're just surrounded by a bunch of part-timers, a bunch of people who are kind of in, kind of out, I can promise you're not in the right place. Surround yourself by really amazing professionals. Try to find the who's who in real estate in your market. Or if you're in car sales, go knock on the Ferrari dealership store. What do I have to do to sell this car? Right. And really position yourself to find people who are doing your profession at a higher level than you. And I promise you, because we've had this happen to us personally, where we've had younger agents, younger mortgage people, give me something. Am I doing this thing right? Am I not? How should I change this? Those people who are killing it will never close the door in your face.
No.
And if they do, they're just jerks.
Yeah. And you don't need to be around them anyway. But most of us that have been there, done that, we want to help people.
Absolutely.
I will literally give my blueprint to anybody out there.
And the people who are going to laugh at you or say that's not a good idea or pull you down, those are the people either at or below your level. They don't want to see you rise.
Yeah, they lack the abundant mindset.
Exactly. And I am very much at the point in my career where I share everything I'm doing. Yeah. And I'm also a sponge for what other people are doing, for sure. Especially those above me. So definitely audit your circle and stop running with the turkeys and start flying with some eagles.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, again, I love that because it's so true. I mean, you can't expect to be an eagle and you're flying with the pigeons. I mean, you can't. I mean, you got to fly with eagles. I'm not saying ditch all your friends unless they're, these crazy successful people. And when I say successful, I don't mean just financially. I mean, in everything that you want out of your life, who that person is that you want to be. But, you've got to make more time for those people in your life and make it an effort and seek those people out. Because I promise you, most of those people, they want to be seeked out, right? They love the opportunity because most of them do have an abundant mindset and they love the opportunity to help and grow. I mean,
well, believe it or not, don't necessarily want to say us, but people who are high achievers doing great in their business. Okay, I'm doing pretty good. It gives us pleasure and it fuels our fire.
100%.
When a young buck or somebody new to the business comes and asks us questions, it doesn't just help you. And when I say you, I'm talking to the people out there listening. If you find somebody in your world that is doing the thing that you want to do, but doing it better, you going up and asking that person questions, it's not just about you, it's about them too. And it's going to pour a little bit of gasoline on their own personal fire to, reinforce what I'm doing is working and it's being seen. Yep. And it will cause them to double down on some stuff they were doing. So
I believe that. I mean, I can tell you personally for myself, anytime somebody asks me my advice on anything, whether it's my marriage, whether it's, Jesus, whether it's, work or whatever, I never have anybody ask me anything about my golf game.
I do.
It's very disappointing.
That is not true.
It's very disappointing.
You're a heck of a golfer.
Anyway, but
were you like a 2 handicap?
But when somebody asks you, though, really, no, I wish I'm like a 10. But when somebody asks you, you're right. It fuels you. There's not been ever one time that somebody's walked up and I've had a conversation with somebody and walked away from it not feeling a jolt of energy myself. So again, surround yourself with those people, seek them out, go up to them. Don't be scared. Just you've got to get out of you got to get uncomfortable and you got to seek those people out. Yep. And the other big thing is too, again, going back to the stupid, we talked about printing your goals, having action plans, all that, printing them out, having them on your desk, laminate them if you need to, whatever it is, but see them, look at them every single day. But the big thing is too, just to understand, again, a year is not a sprint. I mean, it's like running to 400, right? So, I mean, you got 4 laps and you don't have to run every single one of them wide open. But at the end of the day, you got to know what you need to do to make sure that you're going to cross that finish line first. Right. And so, again, in our industry, we know that naturally January, February are going to be slow. So we plant more seeds, we water more seeds, we do all that stuff in January, February, knowing that we're going to double down in the spring and the summer. And, you just got to know your business. You got to know whatever that goal is. And you got to understand that if you didn't get there right out of the chute, or you messed up or whatever, if you want it bad enough, you gotta recorrect and just make sure that, again, that vision of where you want to be at the end of the year is clear, and you know what you need to do to get there. And again, if you don't know what you need to do to get there, that's where you seek out somebody that can help you.
Is there anything else that we want to talk about as far as like action steps of holding the goal together, getting back up on the horse?
I mean, we can talk about, if you wanted to, maybe some time management, distractions, this and that, or no?
Well, we're at 31, so I feel like we could do like 7 or 8 more minutes. Damn, I feel like this was better last week. We talked.
No, we had an hour last week, so obviously we had a lot more.
We had a lot more to say. Yeah. Do you have something you want to say?
Yeah, let's talk.
Go ahead.
And the other thing that I know we haven't talked about really is that I think is greatly important with, especially the work, the home life, the things that I know help you grow, reading, things like that, is you've got to manage your time. I think that most people do a very, very, very poor job of managing their time, and it's because they don't follow their calendar. They don't even really have a calendar. They may put a couple of appointments in their calendar, but they don't really have like non-negotiables. Like for me, I mean, my calendar has when I wake up in the morning, when I read in the morning, when I do cardio, when I come back home and I have my coffee and I'm hanging out with my wife. And we're talking about our day or whatever we're doing. And I have those things in my calendar that are non-negotiables. And do I follow it 100% of the time? No, nobody does. But again, I do it more than I don't, which means, I'm going to be more successful than most out there when it comes to it. But you've got to have your week at a glance. You've got to put your non-negotiables in there, like your workout time, your reading time, your family time, the things that are super important to you. And then you fill in all the white space with appointments and green time and all the things that you need to do to be successful in your career, and just follow the dang thing. I mean, most people just don't do that.
I absolutely love that you're so good at that, because that is honestly something that I always struggled with was time blocking. And I've learned a little bit from you, and shout out to Kylie a lot from my wife. She's a slave to her calendar and she's very good at it. And I do feel like my calendar game has stepped up. So, and it gets to the point where you don't feel bad, but you feel motivated when you see weeks that aren't like my color in our family calendar is blue. And if I see a week that's like all pink and just a little bit of blue, I'm like, what the heck am I doing? I need more appointments. I need to go make more calls. I need to. And then weeks that are like super blue, I can look at those and be like, you know what? Last week was I planted a lot of seeds. I had a lot of good things happen. So, doing calendars for any goal, no matter what that goal is, even if it's reading the Bible, or reading books, or whatever.
Well, that's
time block that thing,
right? I mean, if you're not, you need to. I mean, you need to put time in there for, reading your Bible, reading a book, whatever it is. But you need some of that self time that I think is hugely important. I mean, you look at when I think of the most successful people I know in life, I'm talking about those people that have great business, great marriage, they're great parents, they have a great social life. You just look at them and you're like, man, how do they just get it all done, right? It's those people that are slaves to their calendar, and they read and they do their self time. And I was reading in the Purpose Driven Life, it was talking about rereading it with my daughter, and it was talking about pick that person that has all those things that you like and emulate them. And like when I think about it, I look at my buddy Ben Wilson, right? Ben, he's the guy that married Rachel and I. He's got a tremendous life, but he hits the gym in the morning. He's got his reading time in the morning where he reads and he focuses on him, and that's his thing. Goes on with his day, and he's got his appointments scheduled out, and he's got his wife time scheduled out, and his family time scheduled out, and his team meetings and his leadership and his coaching and all that stuff, and he's just got it all scheduled out. But Ben's like a slave to his calendar. He probably puts in 35 hours a week, but it's super intentional and it's super dialed in. Mm-hmm. And dude, he's just, you want to talk about the blueprint for life. I mean, the dude's, just killing it in life. Yeah. And he's never stressed. And he's just, I can't emphasize enough how important that is.
Something that it also really helps with is 5-10 years ago, the thing that was eating up everybody's time was just scrolling Facebook, scrolling whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But now that we have bite-sized videos on YouTube Shorts, some of our videos, TikTok, Instagram Reels, all that sort of stuff, you can start doom scrolling, fall into a pit, and you don't even realize it's been 2 hours. What time blocking and time management will really do, especially for entrepreneurs, is it won't let you do that. No. Because you have something else you have to do.
Yeah,
as long as you commit to doing it. But the beautiful thing is that if you go as far as you go with your time blocking, and frankly, I think that doing this video with you is a wake up call for me. But time blocking, Kylie and I will time block, big things, date nights, concerts. Right. But we don't necessarily time block coffee together in the morning, or stuff like that. So you take it a whole step further, and it sounds, you said slave to your calendar, and slave is typically a bad thing, but to me it almost sounds freeing. In that moment, hey, I'm not worried about calling clients, I'm not worried about what workout I'm going to do at the gym today. This is 20 minutes where I'm focusing on my wife and my wife only, and the kids are not my priority right now. The taxes I got to pay are not the priority right now. Right now, the priority is my bride. And that sounds awesome.
Buddy, it is very freeing. When you honor your calendar for one day, do it for one day. I promise you, when you shut that phone down or you set that phone down and it's dinner time at 6:00, you feel good, you're done. There's nothing in the back of your mind that says, I need to answer that phone or I need to look at my emails. I mean, you've intentionally put in a full day. Mm-hmm. And you're just ready to go on to the next.
I love time blocking things outside of business. That sounds hard. That sounds great.
It's hard. Dude, I do it. I mean, just talking about it, like you just said, just talking about it right now. I'm sitting here as I'm talking about it. I don't feel like a fraud because I do it. I know more than I don't, but I can still do better. And that's
the beautiful thing about us is we both
dial it in a little bit tighter and do a little bit better.
You and I both know that there's no such thing as perfection in anything that we do. Not in our family, faith, work, fitness. We'll never reach perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. You could ask Arnold Schwarzenegger or Chris Bumstead, the two most legendary fitness athletes, one recent, one for, they would never say I stepped on the stage perfect. Mm-mm. Because there was always something else. Or you could ask John-O after his second Super Bowl, was that perfect? No, I could have done this better. Yeah. So there's always, the richest man in the world is taking time off his business because he's making sure that our government, the greatest government ever created, clearly not perfect, and he
is running more efficient,
and he's trying to make it run more efficient. So there's no such thing as perfection, only progress.
Yeah, and that's the thing. As we close this thing out, just don't ever. I think that there's a lot of people that confuse movement with progress. And there is a difference. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people out there that just stay busy, but they're not real intentional. They're not following a plan. So it's just them being very busy. And I don't think that the progress is in line with it. So if that's you, maybe do a little self-audit on what that busyness looks like and make sure that you're being a little more intentional and doing the right things. It may mean changing up your game plan or whatever, but nevertheless, the progress should be there.
This video was all about getting back on the resolution horse. Track, so if you're watching, I'm begging you, go back to whatever that resolution was, or if you did not set one, let's set one together. And it doesn't need to be a yearly resolution. It can be due till the end of March.
Yeah.
Your goal is to get 3 workouts in a week and 10 glasses of water, 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
So pick
Just
a
don't
goal.
quit.
Everybody out there, I'm asking you, and put it in the comments. If you stuck with us this long, put in the comments what your goal is, and GT and I will help hold you accountable, share any knowledge we can. And shoot, I'll throw my goals in the comments as well. And I'd welcome GT to do it. And we'll just all hold each other accountable. We'll have it go from the time we release this, set a manageable goal, like GC said earlier. I'm not going to set a goal of making $1 billion by the end of March, but make a tangible, real world goal. Put it in the comments below. Let's all hold each other accountable, and then April 1, we see how we all did, and maybe 1, 2, 10, 50 people get into this, and maybe some people change their lives a little bit.
And then it could be some conversations, because the reality is a lot of us aren't going to be exactly where we need to be by April. And so then you can reevaluate and go, okay, so what's working, what's not working, where can I change, how can I sharpen my pencil? And then to me, that's where real growth comes, right? Where the conversations start happening, as far as, being real with yourself and where you're at and where you want to go and how far behind you are and what you're going to need to do to get to where you want to go. And that, to me, is where real growth just really starts to come to.
Yeah. And then you adjust that goal and set a new deadline.
Yeah.
You make it, okay, I'm going to go to the gym 4 times a week for the next month.
Yeah.
And then we look at it again May 1, and we see what we can do. That is the best way to keep a goal sustainable. Yeah. Don't do a full year and put it in a drawer, forget about it. Keep it in front of you, audit your circle, manage your time, and readjust your goals throughout the year.
If I can only give you one last piece of advice, the goals, the metrics, the resolutions, make it more of a lifestyle, because you don't want to just hit it and now you've achieved it and then it goes away or it changes or whatever. Make it more of a lifestyle, that this is where I'm going to be at this point. And once you hit it, let's raise the bar, right? Let's continue raising the bar. Let's continue growing. Let's continue doing better. And again, man, we live my life for growth, and I know you do too. And all I can say is, for you guys out there, come on this journey with us. I mean, I want to meet people through this, that literally we can help them with their goals. I
want them to help us with our goals.
You're not too busy. We know that we can feed off you guys. So get involved, share, like, subscribe. Please share this with people that you think, if you got anything out of it. But more importantly, engage with us so we can all be on this journey together. I mean,
yeah, we're now creeping up on 2,000 subscribers, but we don't get that many comments, and we want to hear your guys' thoughts. Yeah. I would really love to see your goals, and I promise, we probably don't know y'all, but we will hold you accountable to that goal and help you reach it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, we'll see you next time.